The Alpha Sessions.
Good morning and welcome to the Alpha Sessions. I'm Anastaseea and we are joined today by Noanne, who has come all the way from Prague and is in London for a few days. So Noanne, welcome.
Yay! Glad to be here.
This is your first Alpha Sessions, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And your first, I think you mentioned the first thing you've done on the radio in general?
Yes. So this is really my first very unique time and I'm really glad to share it with Alpha Sessions today.
Well, thank you. Yeah, how are you feeling?
Exciting. Don't know what to expect yet, so...
Yeah. So could you tell us a bit more about what we can expect when we come to your shows? Because from what I've seen, you have a background in drama and theatre. Mm-hmm. So do you combine the two when you do your gigs and live performances?
Thank you very much for this question. Yes, I think I'm trying to do my best to make people very sad at my show.
Really?
No, I mean, I feel like the music which I am co-writing is very cinematic and it kind of needs this layer of drama and all the heart and all your soul put on your sleeves. So I feel like people can expect definitely some unique cinematic touch during my shows, unique dramatic touch. And I feel like my goal is to make people feel something, something they haven't felt for quite a while. Maybe those can be really strong feelings about you, being nostalgic or you being in love or you being, again, very upset. But it's just like, I feel like every single time you feel something during the show, then after the show ends, you really feel like you're alive, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I did notice that a lot of your songs do have like this element of sadness to them. Yeah. Why do you think like you're leaning into that? That makes sense.
Yeah. I think I'm not going to be the first one who'd say that music is a therapy. And I feel like the fact that I'm pouring all the sadness and drama into my music helps me to stay happy in the real life. Because I'm not putting all this drama on the head and shoulders of my loved ones and family. I'm staying very smiley and happy all the time, but you can't be happy all the time, obviously. So this is my, as I said, this is essentially my therapy.
Yeah, I think a lot of artists would agree that their songs are like their creative, as you said, like therapy, a way to like just unload all of your feelings into your art. And so does your background include musical theatre as well?
Yes, and it's very interesting, but music was always my kind of like second tool to the acting, let's say, and to theatre. And for quite a long time, or a decade, let's say, I was trying to pursue this acting dream of mine. And you're kind of knocking on all those doors, waiting for you to be accepted by someone. And I feel like in music, the situation is a little bit different because you just need to be accepted by your audience. And obviously, I don't say that music is less competitive than acting world, but before in acting you actually get to your audience, you need to go through all the other doors and people, decision makers who would judge you whether you are good enough to fit into this role or you look exactly like the director imagined this character to be. And music eliminates all those, doors, basically. So that's what I love the most. And even though, as I said, I was always thinking the music is a secondary tool to my craft.
Yeah, I mean, back like 10, 15 years ago, I was very into acting and musical theatre. That was I initially wanted to be an actress, and I was back in Greece, so there weren't that many opportunities. But yeah, I can agree that as an artist, it's just a lot easier. I mean, it's never easy, but it's a lot more possible to carve your own space and to create something of your own.
You can kind of be yourself, basically, in music. And in acting, before you can actually be yourself, you need to be somebody else for a long time.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly. And do you have a favorite musical by any chance?
Oh my God, this is a tough question. I think that I would say it's Notre Dame de Paris. Because, well, again, I don't think that this answer is going to be unique, but I feel like when I watched it, even like in a teen age, basically, I was so amazed and shocked by the way how music links again with the life on the stage, and how it's just everything emphasizes every single instrument and moment. It's just like music is there to emphasize the tragedy of all the characters, and the tragedy of all the characters is making this music even more powerful. So I'd say that it's going to be Notre Dame de Paris for me.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. My favorite one is Les Mis, which is, I guess, a bit cliche because it's one of the most famous ones, but I really love that musical. And so your most recent single, Everything I Hate About You, came out in August of this year, didn't it? And can you tell us a bit more about the song? And because from my understanding, it's about hating someone, but also loving when they're near you, and kind of exploring the boundaries between love and hate. So, what inspired you to write it, and what's the story behind it?
I think the main inspiration behind the song was my anger, basically. But since kind of, I feel myself when I'm writing music, there is this creative side, which, would write those 7-minute songs and, all this poetry pouring into the music. And then there is this other side. I'm not saying that this is a commercial side, because it doesn't look like commercial project yet. But it's just something on the side that tells you that it should be somehow different. There should be some edges and shades in the song, which is not about the anger, obviously. So that is why the song itself is quite, I mean, it's quite fun to me when I hear it, when I sing it, but still it has this message of, me not really liking you already.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like the main inspiration, as I said, is the anger about somebody whom you probably loved the most, but then at some point you started to feel like it's not the mutual feeling. Wow, how new. So, and then in order not to make it, too depressive and too sad as my previous singles, me and my co-writer, Gregory Darling, who is also my producer, we came to this decision to make this sound like a rock and roll song, and I feel like it's a really, really nice one.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And I was going to say that the music video for it was really good as well. The editing's great. And I was going to ask, I saw that on your Instagram post when you were talking about the music video, you mentioned that YouTube censored you. Did it censor that particular video?
So basically I'm working with the Orchard Distribution. And they said that the video, is too violent to be officially promoted.
Really?
Yeah. So unfortunately, we couldn't really promote it via like advertisements, etc., etc. But I think like I guess I let it go because I feel like we did something really interesting, really ironic. I'm not saying that this is particularly, again, my style of the video, but because I trust the people whom I work with, the director as well. This was his script, and initially it was the script for a short movie, and then we kind of adapted it to the music video. So I was like, okay, let's just do it, let's try it, and then we'll see. And the feedback was really, really interesting. It was varying from people who were saying that I don't accept what you did because of, the symbols and the Jesus there in blood and everything. Yeah. And then the others were like, wow, this is cool. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I think there are a lot more violent music videos out there.
Yeah. I was also, this is actually a really good point, because when I was discussing also the kind of the risks of this video being like censored, I was like, well, really, this is the most violent what you've seen.
I know. Yeah, I don't get how YouTube works, honestly. But yeah, that must have been quite a stressful experience for you.
It's actually, this whole music video was a stressful experience for me, from the the moments of shooting, because we needed to transform a photo studio to this like motel kind of room in blood. Wow. And as you can imagine, the photo studio has the walls which are completely white. So we came to a space which is not ours, and for the sake of our creative genius and our creative idea, we almost sacrificed this whole space for 2 days of the shooting. So I had really like stressful moments after the shooting was over, and I needed to bring the studio back to the clean space as it was before. And we had incredible problems with this blood, because this blood was from a party shop, and we never knew that it would be so incredibly hard to scrape it from the walls. It was almost impossible, so we kind of scraped the walls like completely to the stone. And then and I was scraping it myself. I even have like pictures when I'm scraping the wall myself, crying basically. But and then it was just really, really stressful. And somehow it's very interesting. But when the music video was done and I was watching it, maybe somewhere deep inside, I was even like happy that we have some problems, because I started to hate this creative work as well, because of all the stress that it brought to me afterwards. So, but now I think I'm in love again.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Oh, my love, I know in your life there is no place for me. I don't care. Oh, my love, take your last path and follow me. We're going to nowhere. I want you to come closer. I want you to know me from A to Z. I want you to be my best composer, and I'll be your best melody. Oh, my love, I'm taking off a white glove. I know you wanted it, so did I, but without you never win this fight. Your story ends, you have no chance, and that's when I come by. I want you to come closer. I want you to know me from A to Z. I want you to be my best composer, and I'll be your best melody.
The Alpha Sessions.
Speaking of music videos, I saw that Goodwill has won various awards throughout Europe. And you also won the London Music Video Awards, didn't you? Well, and I saw that it was close to a Grammy nomination for Best Music Video. That is obviously a massive achievement. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's really insane, honestly. You mentioned that you have a team around you. I was going to ask if you did everything yourself, directed, edited, but you have a team around you, don't you?
I actually had an experience of a music video which I tried to direct and shoot and edit myself, and it wasn't ever released. So
okay, wow.
But the thing is that for Goodwill, I guess I was very lucky to find a director with whom we kind of like understood each other from the first moment. So because the music video, let's say, the song itself is very unusual because it, you know, it's very niche, it's very long. I was like sad before the song was even released that we're gonna have some problems with the radio promotion, we're gonna have some problems with the promotion in general, because, you know, you have two choruses, they are endless, the lyrics are different from chorus to chorus, you know, it's hard to remember, and it's not a kind of like stadium song where everybody can sing it with you. So I was like, okay, I acknowledge the risk. And then when I met the director, we started to talk about what I see behind the lyrics, and he supported me, and he kind of like elaborated this idea into something that what we see currently in the music video. I think that was my first happiest moment of life when we were shooting this music video, and you're kind of understanding that the whole, you know, 15 people basically, which were brought by the director and the producer of the shooting. 15 people were brought there just to make your idea come true, and this feeling is incredible. I think I've never felt happier before. Any time in my life. No, I think that doing everything by yourself, it might be the only way for lots of musicians, basically, because you simply don't have enough resources to hire people, obviously. But since I had the opportunity to hire people at that time, I realized how important it is to delegate the stuff to every single person who knows what he or she is doing, and he can do it way better than you can. So and then, as I said, once I was shooting a music video myself, and I think I had a great idea, but then the realization was suffering a lot because I'm simply not used to kind of understand all the technical aspects of how the music video works. And then the result which came out, it was just, let's say, below expectations. So we're currently still elaborating and trying to work out what can be done with this music video. But this was one of the moments when I realized that every single person should do what he or she can do the best. And then if you have the possibility, you should let other people do their best work as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bit, I don't think controversial is the right word, but like there's a fine line between, I guess, you know, learning skills yourself, but then also trying to do too much. I think this is something that a lot of small artists struggle with. Because in an ideal world, they would have like lots of people around them helping them with their projects. But a lot of people can't do that, and so they just try and do everything themselves, but then that obviously kind of sometimes, not always, but it can kind of just burn you out and like affect the quality of whatever you're trying to do.
I think you should be obviously as much involved as you can in what you love. And this is, I think, I believe what I've done so far. And this, to be fully honest, this was also one of the things which helped me optimize the costs. So let's say people were not charging me as much as they could because they saw that I'm involved into this work. I was trying to be there and, kind of also help my idea to come true, basically. But I think you're right that it's all about the personal situation of every single musician. If you have this opportunity, I just realized that when I was trying to do like really low budget videos, maybe because also I put myself into this niche with the first video where I have this kind of cinematic angle plus some technologies involved, and then every single time when I was doing something less than that, I was I guess I was sad with myself. I thought that I'm not something what I'm doing later, it was not good enough to keep the same level. And after a year of, let's say, officially my music career and endless attempts to shoot different music videos, I realized that maybe for me it's better not to do anything than do something just to, release it. Because I feel really strange about myself every single time when I'm doing something that I don't like, essentially.
Yeah. So about your song Goodwill, let's talk about that in a bit more detail. So the song, it's like a mixture of spookiness and drama, I would say. And the music video as well, it's just... It's like an immersive experience because you're listening to that song while watching the video, and it's really, really brings you in. Yeah. So I would say in general, how would you describe your sound and what are your main musical influences?
I think that the words cinematic, dramatic would be the best description. Noir, maybe something like that. Okay. And my main influences, actually, I think that I was really influenced and impressed by Pink Floyd, their album Dark Side of the Moon. I think that the angle or the aspect which influenced me the most is that the whole album is a story. So that's how I understood that it's so important to tell a story or to convey a story within a song. And also that every single time you expect something to happen when you're listening to this album, it's just not happening. It's just happening completely something else, and it leaves you with so many shades of feelings of your expectations not being fulfilled, and yet there is something else coming to your heart and soul when you're listening to it. And then by the end of the album, I felt like I'm a different person. So so I think Dark Side of the Moon was my main kind of music influence, and then The Wall. And then I started to dig more into Prince and into David Bowie, but I would be completely honest if I say that Pink Floyd was probably and is number one influence to me.
Oh wow! Do you think you'll ever release an album that kind of tells a story?
This is my goal. I'd say I really want it to be that way. I really want the album fully to convey a story from one song to another. Actually, I think I forgot a very important also part of my creative influence. Michael Kiwanuka is I think he's the UK artist and London-based artist, and his music also is very kind of like storytelling. And his last album, Kiwanuka, is actually an album which conveys a story from one song to another. It's just like transfers and transforms. I would love to release an album like that. I imagine right now, after a year of my music career, officially, I imagine how much work it involves. But hey, we're all here to work, I guess.
Yeah, I'll check out Michael Kiwanuka. I've
Yeah,
never heard
he's
of
amazing.
him.
He's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
So Goodwill, like,
Yeah.
what is the premise of the song? What is it about? What inspired
yeah.
you to write it?
I think that Goodwill is one of the songs which I wrote like within basically 10 minutes after a certain event happened.
Oh, wow.
So this was one of the fastest songs to be written, I guess. And I think that, it's all about your kind of very like sad and strong events happening in your life. What I can say is that I tried to convey a certain message in the music video about a person going down into their depression, and then if somebody tries to help this person without this person's will, any help would just be, can you say obsolete? Like
Pointless.
Pointless,
thing, yeah.
exactly. Yes, no one can help you if you cannot help yourself.
Yeah.
And we try to make this analogy with this Eurydice and Orpheus story, but Eurydice is going herself right now into this underworld, and Orpheus is trying to help her, but hey, Eurydice doesn't want to be helped. So
Okay, yeah.
yeah, this is kind of the message that a person who struggles with their sadness and depression, you kind of should try to help yourself.
Would you notice my silent steps behind your door? Would you notice my warm shadows on your black walls? Would you notice me getting over your spells? Would you notice me being with somebody else? I have noticed the last time you've touched me with your glance. I have noticed the last time you've given my pride a chance. I have noticed you've silently flipped over a page. I was smart enough to notice the place where I followed you was a take out my heart, tear me apart, and finish what you planned to do from the start. I knew there's no chance to survive with you, such a shame, because I wanted to. I dreamt of us being more than just lovers, while you laughed at all my hopes and desires. I never had a chance to give my
The Alpha Sessions.
It's very interesting, like the whole Orpheus and Eurydice. I can't say that word in English as a Greek person. In Greek, it's Evridiki.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's a very interesting like story to bring into your music video, and something that I wouldn't have thought of, and I don't think many people would have thought of. That's very interesting, and your music video as well was just very, I don't know, the editing was absolutely incredible. It was all just very on point. I can tell that so much work was put into that.
I think we were editing it for about like 8 months.
Oh wow.
So we were like, and I'm really thankful to the director, to Sasha Needmore, because every single time he had this rough cut, like a part of the rough cut, he was coming back to me and we were reviewing it and reviewing it again. And sometimes I was bringing like really crazy ideas, like I feel like we need to have 2 shots at the same time, but I don't know how you should make it. And he was just always saying like, Anna, I'll think about it. Like, really, I'll think about it. I'm not promising anything. And then he was coming back every single time with, you know, with a smile, saying like, I think I did it.
Wow.
So, and interesting what you said about the meanings behind the music video, because I think I never told before about the exact message which I wanted to convey in this music video. But this fact of keeping it as a secret, but right now, I mean, 1 year after the release, I guess I can show my cards a little bit. But people were finding their own hidden meanings, and they were telling me sometimes something that I would never thought that they would see there.
Yeah.
So it was also quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's another beautiful thing about music videos and projects like this, whereas people can just interpret it however they want, kind of thing. And it's quite interesting hearing like what they think of your creation. That makes sense. And about your writing process, you mentioned that you write with a guy called Gregory. And he produces a lot of your stuff
basically
all of them. So do you, when you guys write a song, do you just like have a session and you know what you want to write about, or do you just sit down and write about whatever pops into your head?
So basically before it worked in a way that all these songs have been like pre-written, let's say. So it means that I have already lyrics, and I have the basic part which I am writing on my ukulele. So imagine like Goodwill was written on ukulele.
Okay.
Take out my heart. But then when I first came to Gregory, I showed him all my songs, and I said that the direction, kind of, I painted the picture how I wanted to sound like. Again, with I was saying something like, I see it more like a story of strings and maybe something epic, something theatrical. And he just said, no more. I get it. And that's how it's basically it's getting born. Gregory then sends to me his ideas, how he sees the song, and then like I'm coming back to his studio and we're working out some particular parts, and then once we agree, both of us, that that's the way how this particular song should sound like, we started the recording process. But the pre-production can take up to, I don't know, several weeks essentially. And we had one song which is not released yet, but is going to be released in January. And I think we argued so much about that one because for some reason we started to see the song a bit, different. And finally, we came to the compromise. And I can't say that this is going to be my most favorite, creative child, but I feel like it has its own strength, which haven't been exposed yet in my previous tracks.
Okay.
So when you hear it, and the song is called Jack It Up, it's going to be released on 17th of January. It's so freaking different from all the other tracks.
Different in what way?
I think it's different both in the vocal approach, in the production approach. The music is just it's way heavier than in my previous tracks, and the vocal approach, I think once you hear it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So
yeah,
check it up, 17th of January.
Yeah. And so you met Gregory, and you guys just like clicked pretty much, kind of.
Basically, I've heard about Gregory before because he's also producing the tracks for many artists, including Julian Lennon. So I've heard Gregory's works. For some of the musicians whom, when I heard a song, I just realized that the identity of a musician was read so well. Like, that is exactly how I imagined his or her music to be, because that is how I know this person in the real life. And, this person can be eclectic, influenced by many, many, waves of music and many genres. And yet when Gregory produces a song and co-writes or writes a song, I'm like saying that, wow, this is exactly this person. This is how I imagined it to be. So after one of those releases, I approached Gregory and I was like, I want to be also someone who's working with you. And we talked about the kind of future plans. I revealed all the material which I had, even though I I never dreamt to be a professional musician before, because this path seemed to me very scary. Theater and acting, this is something I know very well. Every single time I'm coming on stage, this is something I know what to do. I know what to expect, basically. And here I'm like, I was really kind of not that brave to go fully into this path. I was like, those are my songs, so maybe we can do something with them, and maybe let's see what can be done further. And then somehow lots of things happened, basically. So that's why I'm here right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's very hard for artists to find that one co-writer or producer that's aligned with their vision. I feel like for a lot of artists it can take like a few years at times. It can be quite difficult to find that one person. So did you reach out to Gregory yourself? Did you find him?
I reached out to him myself. I was just like, hey, I was really impressed by those and those and those tracks. Can we set up a meeting? So we set up a meeting and we started to work later. But I can tell that it was a I cannot say that everything that is happening to me is just luck, because obviously this is luck which is happening after some efforts which you put into what you're doing. But meeting people who really understand you, I think this is probably real luck, because I tried to work before with, other producers, but since my music career was not yet in a phase that it was crucial to find somebody who really reads you or understands you, I've seen those differences. I understood that we're not really on the same page with the person, and then I was just like, okay, well, I'll just go to somebody else. But then once I started to work with Gregory, once I started to work with Sasha, who is the director of my music videos, I was just like, wow, this is so much easier right now, when you don't even need to explain kind of anything. They just know you and you know them, and you're like, okay. Do you have any advice for artists to, like, how can they find those people that really get them? Because I have lots of artist friends and a lot of them are like, oh, I don't know, this producer isn't quite getting my sound or what I want to do with the song, for example. I think, first thing, probably be brave to walk away, I guess, because we are afraid to walk away. It seems like, okay, we made this contact, and like this is probably the only contact I've made so far, and like I need to push myself further and work with this person. But essentially, if there is something that you don't like, if there is something that you kind of feel unsure about your art, it's really worth to walk away and start anew with somebody else. Because if you are the only one, and this is probably true, you are the only one who is going to go on stage with your music, who is going to, let's say, shout out to all the people, hey, this is my music and this is the best you can hear. Hey, this is my music video, this is the best what you've probably seen so far. If you were not believing in it, it's going to be so freaking hard for you. And the easiest way to believe in it is, actually believing in it. So you should, when it comes to art, to music, I feel like it's so important to make this sound as perfect as you can for yourself. Maybe this is kind of advice which is not going to work for everybody, but I feel like this is something which works for me, because I feel insecure every single time I go on stage, but you shouldn't feel insecure about your music. You can feel insecure about yourself, but like thinking that my music is not good enough, no, you shouldn't have those thoughts in your head.
Yeah, 100%. And we were talking about music videos earlier, and so I can see that you've invested like a lot into your music videos. And I wanted to ask you, because in the music industry at the moment, there's this talk that like music videos aren't really worth it anymore for smaller artists. You see lots of people in the industry just being like, no, don't invest in them. Don't invest in them anymore. They don't have the same effect like they used to. Invest that time and money into something else. And do you, I'm assuming you don't agree with that statement. I
think
what
it depends.
What do you think about that?
I think it is an interesting question. I think that it does make sense not to spend that much money on music video if it's just a music video. And what I mean by that is, for example, my first music video, Goodwill, I was intentionally making it to compete further on the festivals, like kind of intentionally making it as a half cinema, half music video. And I think that in terms of my career start, Goodwill music video was probably the best investment I had, because it helped my project live throughout the whole year, basically. And this is like being completely honest. I was invited to so many festivals. I was performing at the festivals partially because of this music video. So this was definitely something that I would never regret. I think that the second reason why I'm making it is to basically to leave something about myself after my life comes to an end, I guess. So yeah. So that's why I'm making those music videos.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here. Yeah.
Where can we find your socials?
So you can find me on Instagram. This is Noanne. And you can find Noanne also on Spotify. I would be really happy if you are not only check out my music, but you can write me your feedback and messages, because this is really, really important. We're all doing it not only for ourselves, because if it was only for ourselves, we would never release a song. We would be just, singing it in our rooms. So thank you so much for listening.
Straight to hell. If you'd ask me for direction, that's where I see it in you. I can tell you're doing well under masks that you wear. You're hiding all your wounds. Let me go. I don't wanna heal lies anymore. I would bring out brighter shades by getting rid of the sound of your steps. I don't wanna be aware every should have asked me for the place that's where you'd meet me. Got myself out of the shell. Now we'll burn on the flame with no more chance to flee. Letting me go. I don't wanna hear lies anymore. I would bring out brighter shades by getting rid of the sound of your steps. I don't wanna be aware every time you hear that. Whatever you do, whatever you dare, I don't wanna fucking care. This is the time. This is the time. This is the time. I'm so sick of what I do. I'm so sick of what I know, what I knew. But whatever you do, whatever you dare, I don't wanna fucking care. Ooh, letting me go. I don't wanna hear lies anymore. I would bring out brighter shades by getting rid of the sound of your steps. I don't wanna be aware every time you hear that. Whatever you do, whatever you dare, I don't wanna fucking care.